Okay. Um. Let's run some ads. Run 3-minute ads. Okay. So, I guess we'll go into targeter, and we'll do, let's do backspace. Keyboard, backspace, pressed. Destroy actor. I don't know if this I don't know if this is gonna work. No clue if this will work. Okay, okay, that did not work. Okay, that didn't work. Add print string. Compile. Okay, you know what? That's not happening, so we have to go into project settings, input, action mappings, axis mappings, do an action mapping. We'll do backspace. Okay, I think that's good. Save. Let's try again. Still doesn't work. We're not getting... worked, right? Okay, so this isn't working, and I don't know how to... let's go to the websites. Let's go to the websites. Unreal, how to clear a target by pressing a button like escape. Clearing render targets. No, don't want that. Removing a widget with button press. Reset effects of a pressed button. Remove selection when clicking somewhere else. How to unpress an input. Removing prompt widget by pressing a key. How can I destroy actor by pressing buttons? I'm trying to make something simple as adding a widget to the viewport and display some text, and then either have it removed after X seconds or have it removed immediately. After X seconds or have it removed immediately when the player presses the left mouse button. Nothing happens when I set it up, and I have no idea how to bind the left mouse button into this event. The text never disappears, even when I remove the delay. I thought maybe telling it to delay the text. Could somebody please explain to me what I have to do? For idiots, please. And I only want the specific text widget removed, not all the widgets. Why would the node remove from parent do not... Why would that node remove from parent do not work? The only thing that comes to mind is a question. How do you add your widget to the viewport in the first place? In my project it works, and I will post the answer for now. If you have any further questions... The trick is to put the remove widget code into the widget itself. That's what I was doing. My solution to this is rather hairy, but it does work, and I can use it as a starting point to research further. Event construct delay. Remove with the left mouse button. Interesting. Or remove it with the left mouse button. Event tick. Branch. Get player controller. Get input analog key state. Okay. Is greater than. Condition true. Remove from parent. Set is removed. Interesting. Hello, Hux and Lux. Why would the remove from parent work? The only thing that comes to mind is a question. My project at work, so I'll post the answer for now. Here's my function unit interface in it, but it can be whatever you like, even as an event. Create piano interface widget. Set. Add to viewport. Kill interface can also be an event in your case. Kill interface is valid. Piano interface. Remove from parent. Target is widget. Okay, I think part of it is like Where's my... Why do these count as different windows? I'm confused. Why is this not even an option? Do I have to save it? I'm confused. There we go. Oops, not what I wanted. Fuck. Good lord. Okay. So... let's open targeting net. No. Targeting interface? No. It's created here. Target actor. Maybe we should add a function of like destroy target. Spawn actor targeter. Set targeter. Attach actor to actor. Okay, so let's make a new function, I guess. Hold on. Event graph. Targeting net. Clear target. Target actor. Retriggerable delay. Spawn actor targeting net. Let's add a new function, I guess. New function. Clear target. No. Clear targeting reticule. Clear targeting reticule. Let's see. Is valid. Input. Select asset. Get targeter. Is valid. Input what was it? Input analog key state. This logic makes sense to me, but hey, J tier, how are you? Sorry, I didn't see your message right away. I have like a billion windows open, so I can't see everything all at once. How are you doing? What was it? Get input analog key state. Get input analog key state. Key. Backspace. God dang it. I'm a little drained. You're doing some epic stuff, I see. I'm doing some Unreal stuff. Badumpsh. What the fuck? Okay, I'm confused. Can you not put that shit in a function? Okay, hold on. Is valid, destroy actor. Let's compile this, save. Why are you a little drained, JT, or what have you been up to? Are you hacking? I'm trying to program this to... Okay, so what I have so far, I'll show you. Okay, it's not even functioning. God damn it, hold on. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'll show you what I have so far. So I've got movement, I've got jump, I can toggle a walk, I can go back to running. These things wander around a little bit. And then I can press tab and select a target, and it'll cycle through the targets, and after a while it'll reset back to my nearest target. And I've gotten the reticule to always face the camera, and now I need a way to clear the target. So I'm trying to figure that out on my own because nobody else seems to do that. Nobody else seems to like... Oh, okay, so what I'm doing is I have this function, and when this function is called, it checks if the targeter is valid, and if it's valid, it destroys the actor. If it's not valid, it doesn't do anything. So let's go to the event graph, and we'll keyboard backspace, keyboard event backspace, pressed, run the function clear targeting reticle. Oh, hold on. This is not going to work. Hold on. Clear targeting reticule. There. Compile. Let's see if this does anything. You sold your body again today and gave plasma. Did you get that sick money? That blood money, literally? Okay, we've targeted. Can we target again? Yes! Oh my god! Okay, so we can target, we can clear a target. Target, clear target. Target, clear target. Target, clear target. Oh my god, I did it! I did it on my own without... Well, kind of. Yeah, I did it on my own without any help. Okay. Fuck yes. I got a whole $40. Well, that's pretty... That's like one meal, right? In today's inflation. Okay. And I'll get $100 more Wednesday. Why $100 more on Wednesday? For more blood? Or what? Okay, so we've got target clearing. Oh my god, you're a genius. Why? Because I figured out that you're giving more blood, or... Okay, I want to try it again, just to make sure it's working. Target! Target, target, cycle target, clear the target. Target, clear target. Target, clear target. Target, clear target. Target, clear target. I did it. Okay. So what's next? What should we do next? Let me check something real quick. Add enemy information display. To display enemy stats like HP or name, create a simple UI widget and update it when an enemy is targeted. You can start by creating a health bar and enemy name on the HUD. Once an enemy is targeted, you can bind the enemy's current HP, but we need to give him stats before it'll show that shit. So create a basic stats system. Now that you have enemies with and a target system, adding a stat system would be a good next step. Basic selects like HP, MP, and attack bar will help you manage both player and enemy combat interactions. Create attributes for both the player and enemy. Define attributes like blah 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 blah. You can store these in a character stats component. These stats should be easy to modify and reference when attacks are made or abilities are used. Okay, let's look that up. The second dono of the week pays out way more. Why is that? Why does it work like that? And you're a genius for programming the game. I mean, I'm mostly following tutorials. Most of the coding in this game is from a tutorial. Well, it's not a game yet, but most of the coding in this is from tutorials. That was like the one thing I did that I did on my own. So, I'm trying to be organized here. Okay. It's probably to encourage people to give more. Oh shit. I'll have to try that, actually. If it's that much. Is it per week, or do you have to rest longer than that? I like the darker colors for this. Okay. Let's watch a tutorial on how to do a stat system. Skill system. Is that the same as a stat system? Let's search his thing for stat. I'm looking at Ryan Lally on YouTube. Ryan Laley on YouTube. He has great tutorials. Stat system. Player stats. Stat function. Player stats part 1. My ad blocker is not functioning recently, and I don't know why. And it's driving me crazy. You can donate a maximum of twice per 7-day period. Interesting. At least with the company I use. I definitely also want to donate blood so I can figure out what my blood type is. Because I don't know what my blood type is. Okay.
Hi everyone,
Can
and
you hear
welcome to
this?
the start of a
Okay,
new mini-series in UE4. This episode and this series, is going to be talking about how we do a stat tracking system. So how to make it so we can keep track of various stats that we may have in a game. These could be things like enemies shot or killed, coins picked up, times jumped, whatever it may be. Okay. So we're building a system to track all those stats, and then you can tie those stats into things like achievements or unlocks, whatever you want to do. You've got total freedom. So the way we're going to do this is we'll be using the game instance to keep track of all this stuff, because the game instance is persistent, meaning that it is, once it's loaded up at the start, it remains the same instance of that actor the whole way through the game until the game is shut off. So you can store values in there, such as like save data.
Hold on.
And in this,
Go back.
we'll be using the game instance to keep track of all this stuff, because the game instance is persistent, meaning that it is, once it's loaded up at the start, it remains the same instance of that actor the whole way through the game until the game is shut off. So you can store values in there, such as like save data, and in this case stat data, without fear of losing it in level transitions. So what we're going to be doing here is setting up a load of functions which handle that communication to that game instance. But first, let's create that game instance. So I'm going to go to add new blueprint class, and in my all classes box down the bottom here, if you can't see it, just expand open all classes, and you want to search for game instance. And you'll see game instance. Click select to create one, and you want to name it whatever you want. I'm going to call my one my game instance. And now we've got this made, we need to tie it to our game so it uses this when it launches the game. So I'm going to go.
Okay, hold on before I continue. Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, let me do this, and then we want. Okay, we want add blueprint class, all classes, game instance, select FF11 game instance, save. Okay. Up to anything else, J Tier? Have you been working on your animatics?
go to Edit, Project Settings, and then on the Maps and Modes section on the left hand side, click on that, and then right down the bottom you'll see Game Instance Class. Choose your game instance, and then we can close the settings window.
Alright. Project settings, maps and modes, game instance class, FF11 game instance. Okay.
So now it's tied to that specific game instance, the one you've made. So now we're going to create the stats on our game instance. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to keep track of the stats in the sense of a variable. So I'm going to click on New Variable.
Go back.
Now we're going to create the stats on our game instance. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to keep track of the stats in the sense of a variable. So I'm going to click on New Variable, and we're going to call this one Stats. And I'm going to go to the right hand side details panel and change the variable type here to string.
String. Haven't used those before.
I'm then going to click on this little capsule next to the string box and change it to the bottom option, which is the map option.
Map option.
This turns it into...
I've got plenty of ideas for animatics, but just been tired lately. That makes sense. I have not been streaming. I have not worked on any of my art. I have not worked on my Dark Lord Castle. I have not worked on animation. I have not started to learn Toon Boom. I've been putting all my energy into this fucking thing. So I feel you.
To a map type of variable, and a map is a way of storing values against another value. So what we call this left-hand variable, a key, and then this right-hand column is going to be the value associated to that key. Now keys have to be unique, but values don't, obviously. But the main thing is that keys have to be unique. So it suits this quite nice. I see, because we can then, if I compile that, I can do a test here like a default value. I can add a stat on here. We call this one test stat, and we'll leave it a value of 0. Yeah, but I could have another one in here that could be like jumped, and this could be a value of 2, whatever it may be. And you can have whatever stats you like in this list, or you can leave the list completely blank and they'll be added as soon as you start earning those stats. The downside to that, though, is that if you're going to do the UI elements of the stat screen, they won't appear on there because they have no current value. So if you want the UI to show all your stats at the start of the game, even if they're empty, you want to go ahead in here and make a list of all the stats your game is going to have. And this is assuming that all your stats can be associated to a value. Apologies, we'll make it a float, not an integer. So I'm just going to clear these and change that to a float.
Okay. So, change this to a float. Okay, so before I continue, let's open up BG Wiki FF11 stats. Category base stats. I bought a lotto ticket. Wish me luck. I wish you luck. Good luck with that. I hope you win it big. And if you win it big, since I wish you luck, you have to give me a tiny portion, if that's okay. Like if you win $3 million, I'm okay with like 100,000. Okay. There are 7 base attributes, each associated with one of the 7 of the 8 elements, from which most of all other stats are derived from. See their individual pages for how these stats are derived into other attributes. We've got strength, dexterity, vitality, agility, intelligence, and mind. and charisma. If I win, I'll tier 3 sub. Yay! Tier 3 sub. There are 11 derived attributes, each mathematically derived from one of the 7 base stats. The ones denoted with the star below can be measured with the check param command. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. See their individual pages for how these stats are derived from their associated base stat. Accuracy. Ranged accuracy. Magic accuracy. Attack, ranged attack, magic damage, critical hit rate, ranged critical hit rate, defense evasion, magic evasion. I don't know if I need all those in one stat sheet. Or if it has to be in like a separate stats, but we're going to add them all. Because why not? Okay, what am I doing? Is anybody... I'm not missing anything? Okay. I understand this is probably not the most interesting thing to watch. Stats. So we have strength. We have... Okay, we have dex. Oh, dexterity. Vitality. Agility. I like that they're tied to the elements. That's cool. I never realized that. Agility, intelligence, mind, and charisma. 7 map elements. Okay, compile, save. Okay, I kind of want to read more about how these derive. What am I looking at? Okay. So, let's say attack. Attack depends on strength and the relevant combat skill with the weapon type currently in use. As of the December 2018 update, attack derived from strength is in a 1-to-1 translation for all main hand and ranged weapons. Attack is 8 plus combat skill plus strength. Wait, attack depends on strength and the relevant combat skill with the weapon type currently in use. As of the December 2018 update, attack derived from strength is a 1-to-1 translation for all main-handed ranged weapons. Attack is 8 plus that's so weird. Why is it 8 plus? 8 plus combat skill plus strength. For weapons in the offhand, strength contribution is reduced by half. 8 plus combat skill plus floor. Strength divided by 2. Combat skill translates into attack in... so you'll have made a full game by the end of the day, yeah? It took me 3 days to get the targeting reticule to just face the camera at all times. So don't hold your breath, J-tier. You might die. I just got home and those 2 flights of stairs knocked me on my ass. So you didn't go up the stairs is what you're saying. You couldn't make it up. Combat skill translated into attack in differing skill tiers, similar to accuracy. And likewise includes item level skill bonus for the skill total, even though said eye level skill is not shown in the skills menu. Combat skill translates into attack in differing skill tiers, similar to accuracy. similar to accuracy, and likewise includes item level skill bonus for the skill total, even though said item level skill is not shown in the skills menu. Attack is used to calculate PDIF. Physical difference is a series of functions that consider the ratio of player attack versus monster defense and determine how much. Jesus, this is too much. And determine how much melee damage is dealt every time your character swings its weapon or gets swung at. There are at least 3 different kinds of PDIF equations. The formulas below mostly refer to melee PDIF, with a nod here and there to ranged PDIF. They completely ignore pet monster avatar PDIF, which is thought to follow different equations or have different caps, which, aka, they don't know what those are. Is thought to follow. When I win the lotto, I'll hire you to make my Fiona Studley game. What kind of game is that? Why would you hire me? I don't know what I'm doing. Pre-randomizer P-diff caps by weapon type. Pre-randomizer P-diff caps by weapon type and level 99 jobs with damage limit plus trait. There's so this is so deep. I hate this. Attack defense ratio. A ratio. Attacks attack. Targets defense. One-handed melee weapons have an effective ratio cap of 3.625. Great sword, staff, great axe, polearm have an effective ratio cap of 4.125. You better figure it out. Game launches holidays 2024. What kind of game are you trying to make there? Effective ratio cap is where PDIF min becomes equal to the pre-randomized PDIF. One-handed player Earthworm Jim has 1,000 attack and is fighting a monster that has 500 defense. His ratio is 1,000 to 500 or 2. But what does that ratio do? Estimating level correction function. Level correction function poses a penalty to attack defense ratio if the target's level is higher than attacker's level. This is too much for me. After ratio and level correction. This is wacky. Well, I'm not going to worry about that. Attack from pet. Pets attack derived from their strength via the same rate as a player's offhand strength derivation. 2D platformer with branching paths, accessible based on the character you play. That's interesting. I like that idea. Are you going to explore that at some point? Combat skill translates into attack in different tiers. Oh my god. Let's just add these to be safe. Like fuck. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here for the moment, so I can see the chat's Unreal and oh, I guess I can't see the chats at the moment. I'll put this over here. Yeah, I'm gonna explore it by paying you to make it within a unreasonable time frame. You should hire my friend's game company. Our flag means fun. He'll build that for you. If you pay him. I'm technically associated with them. he just put out their first game, which is like a text-based adventure, I guess, story or something. I still haven't played it. It's called You May Be Eaten or something like that. Critical hit rate. Ranged critical hit rate. Defense. Evasion. Magic evasion. Okay. Let's move this back over here. Minimize. How many LGBT work there? I'd probably be the only one. So your LGBT villain status should go unblemished. Derived stats. Base stats. Okay, what if I just put stats? What about weapon stats? Battle content. Let's go to the main page. Missions, quests, augments, post-item level, pre-item level, crafts, hobbies, gameplay, game mechanics. Let's go to game mechanics. Combat skills. Do we don't want to do skills yet, right? Game mechanics. I forget it. Not enough queer representation. My games need to be made by 69% gays. Same, unironically. Auction house, bazaar, damage type bonus penalty chart, equipment scaling, aka level restricted equipment, magic damage. Let's look at magic damage. Monster aggression, monster reward. Look at all these like red parts that I need information for. Party alliance, physical damage, skill chain damage. Player TP gain, weapon skill damage. Okay, we got base stats and derived stats. Elemental debuff, elemental weapon skill, limit break quest, weapon skills, superior equipment, status effects, skill up book, game mechanics, enmity. Enmity testing. Enemy critical hit rate. God, I don't want an enmity system. Are you kidding? I have to do that though. That's like next after the stats and the combat. Okay, what if we look at something like agility, which is like a base stat? Casting time gauge, charisma, claim system, content level, critical hit rate. Content level. Critical hit rate, cumulative enmity, cure formula, DAGI, damage limit. Actually, I'm interested in this. Damage limit plus. What the fuck is damage limit plus? Damage over time, damage taken, damage type, days of the week, defense, delay, dexterity, distance correction, draw in, drop rate, emotes, Empyrean aftermath, enemy critical hit rate, enmity testing, evasion exclusive XP points. We'll look at that later. Haste, in depth, hit points, hit rate. Intimidate, item level, knockback, lag problems, level sync, macro, magic accuracy, magic affinity, magic critical damage, magic damage. Sorry, I was like distracted by something. Magic accuracy, magic affinity, magic crit, main menu, mana points. MP recovered while healing. Mythic aftermath. PDIF, physical damage, proc. Radar, range accuracy, range attack, rank points, rare. Resist. Save TP. Soul Pyre, spell interruption rate, spell recast, fear, dagger strength, stagger. That's a thing in this? Super coup powers, super strategy, support job, tactical points, tank, target types, titles, TP bonus, TP multiplier, Vanadil time, vitality, volatile enmity, weapon base damage, weapon rank, weapon skill damage, weapon base damage, weapon rank. Okay, magic damage. Oh, why is this so long? Magic damage equation. Damage dealt is calculated by multiplying the following terms in order. Look at this equation. This is one equation. For each multiplication step, the product is floored to the next lowest integer before continuing to the next multiplier. Each term after D starts with a base of 1 and is increased or decreased by caster and target stats and attributes as well as other effects. What the fuck? So damage dealt is D, which is intelligence adjusted base spell damage, times the multiple target damage reduction, times the elemental staff hidden damage bonus multiplier. I hate hidden shit. Hidden stats drive me crazy. Times the elemental affinity damage bonus multiplier, times the reduction of spell damage due to resist states, times the resistance of spell damage due to resistance rank, times magic burst bonus, times day and weather multipliers including iridescence and equipment modifiers, times the caster magic attack bonus factor divided by target's magic defense bonus factor, times the target magic damage adjustment, magic damage taken reduction, times target magic damage adjustment, times the potency multiplier, aka ebullience, climaform bonus, Goetia +2 set bonus, etc. Okay, so do all of these have to be their own stats? Like, I'm not sure what's keeping track of all this. Int adjusted base damage. I'm not reading all this. Physical damage. Look at how easy this is. This is what I'm looking for. Physical damage is base damage times the PDIF. Okay, I don't... That's more complicated, but... Skill chain damage is determined by 8 factors at the moment. Damage of the action that created the current skill chain, closing damage, the number of skill chain used in sequence so far, and the current skill chain level. This is wacky. Skill chain bonus. Gear, trait, gifts, Ionic Aftermath caps at 50%. Job point bonuses are added to this bonus, concede 50%. Skill chain damage. Magic damage, day weather bonus, staff affinity, elemental affinity, resistance ring, magic damage taken. So much math. I know. I'm not a mather. I don't know this shit. This is nerd shit. This is nerd shit. There are some additional uses like magic blah blah blah. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. Weapon skill damage. Calculating physical weapon skill damage. Melee weapon skill base damage is weapon base damage plus F star plus WSC times F. Let's not worry about this for the moment. Agility. So I want to see how they break down their stats. So agility is generally a defensive stat for evading physical damage and an offset stat for ranged attacks. Offensive stat for ranged attacks. Accuracy and critical hit rate. AGI is associated with the wind element. AGI increases evasion at a rate of 1 point per 2 AGI. Okay, interesting. AGI is compared with enemy dex to determine D-dex. And AGI is compared with enemy dexterity to determine D-dex. And increasing agility reduces enemy critical hit rate to a minimum of 5% before enemy critical hit rate Merits. AGI decreases monster TP gain through DAGI in a separate step from subtle blow to a maximum of 50%. I don't know what the fuck that. There have been various rumors that AGI is correlated with other defensive combat skills, but all attempts to verify these have given negative results. Offensive. AGI increases ranged accuracy at a rate of 75%. 3 ranged attacks per 4. 3 ranged accuracy per 4 agility. Agility is directly involved with calculating the critical hit rate for ranged attacks through DAGI at a rate of 1% per 10 AGI. Okay. AGI increases the base damage added to a thief's weapon when trick attack activation conditions are met. AGI increases magic accuracy of quick draw by an unquantified amount. Cure formula. The amount of HP recovered by cure and blue magic healing spells are calculated based on the caster's mind, vite, and healing magic skill before being modified by potency, blah, 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 blah. Look at all this fucking math. Oh my god. I wish there was a mather that I knew who wanted to help me do all this shit. Incoming ad break. Let's run a 3-minute ad break. Sorry. We'll be right back after these messages. We'll be right back. What the fuck does floor the result? Damage taken. Damage type. Delay. Current theory, so they don't actually know. Mana points. Hit rate. 75 plus floor accuracy evasion minus 2 times D level is the attacked monster's level minus the attacking player's level. Interesting, good to know. Let's move on, shall we? Ooh, hold on, I'll wait. I'll wait for the ad break to be over. Hit points, or HP, are a measurement of the remaining health of a player. Different jobs and races have markedly different HP values. And maximum HP increases with level. HP is depleted upon taking damage and can be restored with curative spells, items, and abilities. The HP bar is a visual indicator of the remaining HP, which is displayed at the lower right. Max HP equals base HP times weakness HPP, which whatever the hell that is. Alan Fox, hi, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm hyper focusing on this project I'm doing. How are you? Weakness HPP plus gear HP plus times curse HPP plus food HP plus convert times gear HP mantra times food. I don't know how that fucking works. I'm fine, thanks. Good, good. You doing okay? Enmity. Critical hit rate. Okay, let's move on.
There we go. So I've got string and float. Now, if you are using things like booleans, you can do it a boolean way, but I think float works better because we can still do boolean like checks and integer like checks using floats just the same. Okay, so we'll leave this as is. I'll leave it blank for now and close that back down.
Let's just save. My sister's in the hospital recovering from an operation, but all well and good. Oh shit, what kind of an operation? I'm glad that it's all well and good though. Glad to hear that.
Actually, no, let's put in my test stat. We'll do
I hope they get a they hope they have a swift recovery.
Test stat one. We'll add a test stat in here.
Okay, let's do that. Test stat. Just for the fuck of it.
And leave it at 0. There we go. So that's your game instance setup. Now we're going to work on the functions which allow us to muck about with the stats in our game. So for this, I'm going to make a function library. So I'm going to go to Add New, Blueprints, and Blueprint Function Library. And a function library is a library of functions that are grouped together. And you can use these freely without having to cast them because they don't belong to any particular instance, they belong to the game. So they can be called whenever and wherever. So it comes quite useful. So I'm going to call this one...
That would have been good to know for the targeting because that... whatever. Just for gallstones? Ooh, ouch. Well, glad that's getting taken care of. Okay, let's compile. Save. Okay, so he said... Okay. Add blueprint class. He said, what? Okay, I have to go back.
And you can use these freely in here. And leave it at 0. There we go. So that's your game instance setup. Now we're going to work on the functions which allow us to muck about with the stats in our game. So for this, I'm going to make a function library. So I'm going to go to Add New, Blueprints, and Blueprint Function Library.
There it is. Blueprint Function Library. Why can't I select this? Did I miss something? Blueprints, Blueprint Function Library. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay.
And a function library is a library of functions that are grouped together, and you can use these freely without having to cast them because they don't belong to any particular instance, they belong to the game. So they can be called whenever and wherever. So it comes quite useful. So I'm going to call this one the stat tracker library.
Okay.
And open this up. And you can see it's quite bare bones because all it's going to do is have a list of functions that are associated to this library, and then we can call them up. You'll see how this works as we get involved in this. So the first function we're going to need is the ability to get hold of our stacks, or get hold of our stat data in our game instance. So I'm going to go get stat. I'm going to go get stats, and get stats is going to be the thing that initializes whatever we need to do to call the stats, be it write to them, read to them, whatever it may be. And what we're going to do in here is get game instance, and that gets the current instance that's running, and then we're going to cast to our particular game instance, one we made. So in this case it's my game instance. I'm going to plug that in, and then as my game instance, it's going to be outputted through an output return node on our get stats. So click on your purple get stats input in your in node, and go to the right hand side and you'll see outputs. We're going to click on new parameters, and we're going to call this one in game instance.
Y'all doing okay?
And the type for this is going to be, in this case, my game instance. You just type in whatever name you've given your game instance. I can put that in there and hook that up like so. Hit compile. So that's the most basic entry function. The next function we're going to add is the add stat function. So I'm going to go add stat, add function, sorry, and call this one add stat. And this one's going to have actually some parameters on it. So with it selected, go to the right hand side details panel, and you'll see inputs. I'm going to go new input, and the first one we're going to call stat name, and that's going to be a string. Going to add another one. It's going to be value, and that's going to be a float. As you see, these match up to that map we made in a game instance, which is quite important. Okay, so we've got add stat there. What we're going to do now is call our get stats function, which we made just recently. Drag that out and plug that in. So it gets hold of the stats, the game instance, which we need, and then from there we can get the stats variable, which is the map.
What did he just do?
The game instance, which we need, and then from there we can get the stats variable, which is the map here. Now with this map here we can do a simple find node. Now a find node works in a way that it's going to look for all the keys associated to that variable. So the stats variable, it's going to search for this key that we input here in a second, and if it finds it, it's going to output true. Obviously if it doesn't, it can output false, and it also outputs the value that it finds. So let's try getting our stat name, which you can either drag through there like so, or you can just right click and search for stat name and you'll see it there too. Either way, doesn't matter. Okay, so once you've got that, we're then going to drag the boolean here into a branch, and we're going to use this branch to determine whether or not the stat already exists in that stat tracker. If it does exist, we're going to add to the current value that's in there. So let's go from the stats variable here again and go. Well, actually, might be a bit nicer. So if we do this out here, no, we won't actually. We'll carry on. We'll drag this out over here and do add. So if it's true, it's going to add the stat name. So drag out of here, stat name, and I'm going to add the value to the current value that we've got here. So I'm going to right click and type in value, and it'll be right at the bottom, get value. And that responds to our parameter over here. And I'm going to add a float that to float, and it's going to add this find value to it. And that's then going to go in.
Stop. Okay, and then he did this. And then he's doing this. This is messy. I don't like how messy this is.
Into the final add. So what this is doing is it's going to find a key inside the map, and if it already finds it, it's going to override it with this new value. So it's going to override it with the current value, which is here, and with the addition of the new value. So if it already had the value of 2 and we're adding another 1 to it, it's going to add and change it to 3. If it's false, i.e. the stat doesn't exist in that list already, then we're going to drag down here and do the add again. So from stats here, we're going to do add, and this one's a bit simpler. Because we don't have to add any pre-existing values to it. We're going to do stat name and then just do value. Like so. And that's it. So on add stat, we first of all get in the stats which belong to the game instance. Once we've got that, we look at the variable that's on there, and if the stat name already exists on that list, then it's going to add to the pre-existing value before setting it back through the add. If it's false, i.e. the stat doesn't exist on the stat tracker, then we're going to add a whole new stat to it with a new value. And that's all there is to this function. Hit compile, and we're done here. Then the last function we're going to add to this for now.
Okay, before I continue, I want to like clean this up. So let me hold on. Okay, let's clean this up. Y'all doing okay? I'm playing Golden Sun. Oh, fun. I've never played Golden Sun. I know of it, and I've been meaning to play it before, but I've never played it. Okay, there. Nice and clean. Compile. Save. Okay. For the millionth time? Oh, so you really like that game. Is it one of your faves?
Now is going to be a read stat. So we add a new function to the list on the left hand side. And we call this one read stat. And the read stat is going to have one input, and it's going to be the stat name. And this function is going to
One input, he said?
be used by the designer if they want to read what the value currently is in the stat on the stat values. So we need a stat name. And then we need to do the get stats, which we need to do at the start of all these functions. And on the game instance here, we're going to get stats.
It is top 5 easy. Very cool. Aren't there multiple ones?
Which is that map we made at the start. With the map there, we can then do a simple find.
Yeah, I'm playing Lost
And
Age.
the find it
I don't know
needs
what
a
that
stat
means.
name as the parameter.
Is it like the first game? Is it the third game? Prequel? 1 and 2 Lost Age are masterpieces.
And we're going to output the value that we found. So I'm going to click on my starting node, go to outputs and add a new output, and we're going to change the name of the output value here to value, and then the type to float. And that's quite simply all it's going to do is plug it in like so. Perfect.
Right, go back. Okay, just that. Three Dark Dawn is not so great. Oh no, why? Why are the other two good and that one's not good?
So we've got three functions here. We've got get stats, add stats, and read stat. You may have other ones you may want to do, but anything stat related you can put in this library just fine. So that'll do for us for now. We can close this, and now we're going to actually do some tests on this. So what I'm going to do is go into my first person character here, and I'm going to find where they jump. Okay, so when I jump, I'm going to, from jump, and it is as simple as this, I'm just going to do add stat. And all it's requiring is the stat name and the value. Now, I can do this to the test stat that's already in there, or I can add a new stat to this. So I can show you the new stat. I can go call it jump, call it jumped, and change the value to 1. So it's going to keep track of how many times the player jumps in the game. So do add stat. Now I want to read that stat so I can test if it's working. So I'm just going to do an F key input, and I'm going to simply go read stat.
Stop, stop, stop.
Again, we need a stat name. Make sure it matches the same, capitals and all. Jumped, and all I'm going to do is tell it to print string the value. Hit compile, and let's test this out. So I can jump once, jump twice, push F, and you see I've got 2. Jump again, push F, now 3. And I can keep track of all the times I jump.
Okay, let's try. Dark Dawn came out way later. Golden Sun 1 and 2 look great for GBA games. Dark Dawn is on the 3DS and looks not so good by comparison. Oh no, why? Dark Dawn also has a lot of points of no return, a cliffhanger ending, and furries. Oh no, not the furries. Not the cliffhanger ending. I do hate points of no return. FF16 did that a few times, and it's like, just give me the world to explore. Hold on, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, it's not. Oh, F key. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it works. You're low on disk space. I'm low on disk space. What? I'll worry about that later, I guess. Dark Dawn also lots of points of no return, a cliffhanger ending, and furries. Okay, where was I? Nothing should be synced, so fuck you.
And I can always check with the F key. Like so. And we can do that again to anything we like. So I say I've got shooting here, so I can just add it to shooting here. To go add stat. Shots fired. Value 1. There you go. Maybe I want to, when I push F, I want to read shots fired. So shots.
Hashtag shots fired.
Fired. So now.
1 and 2 simulated 3D using 2D sprites, and the artwork is killer. Dark Dawn uses generic low poly 3D models, and just looks pretty generic. Let's see. Let's verify your claims. Golden Sun. I know Golden Sun, the originals. Like, I've seen it before. Yeah, okay, that looks about what I thought. Golden Sun. Pretty good. Nice. I see it. I know he has like a hand spell that he summons in battle and stuff. Okay. Golden Sun 3DS. does not look 3D, so I don't think that's... God. Size large. I kind of see what you mean. But that's like one image. I mean, they look similar. That's cute. Wow, look at all these toys. That is 2D. What is this? Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, Super Smash Brothers. Wait, what? Is that what it looked like? No, this can't be what it... Wait, this all seems fake. I don't think that's real. This might be real. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I can kind of see what you mean. Okay, where was I? The comparison is 1 and 2 look like Donkey Kong Country. Dark Dawn, it looks like DK64. I love DK64. I didn't beat it. I played it for like a day or two. Isaac is an assist trophy in Smash 4 and Smash U. I knew that because he summons his big hand.
It's going to be that stat instead. 7. 13. 28. And you get the idea. So you can keep adding stats to your game. So we can go ahead and add stats to any kind of thing we like to do. And that's kind of it. In the next episode, we're going to go through the user interface element of this and how you can make it so you can actually read the stats in game and visually as well. So if you want to join us on the next episode, you can join us early before anyone else over on patreon.com.
Okay, let's delete this because I don't need it. It works. Compile, save. Part 2 stat UI.
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store because I'm going to do it.
Fuck. It's a 3-minute ad. Fucking shit.
Free with 20 handpicked products.
Let's hide that real quick. Okay. So... So that's all set up. I like DK64 too, but Country arguably looks better. I was never a Donkey Kong person, so I disagree with that. I think Donkey Kong Country looked awful. But I never played it. I played it for like 10 minutes or something. Hot take maybe, I guess. But I was never a Donkey Kong person, so don't listen to my opinion. What is this? Why is OBS opening over here? What am I looking for? Why does it keep doing that? Okay. Donkey Kong Country. I hated Donkey Kong because he was in Mario Kart and he was always like knocking me off the road and shit, and I was like, fuck you, Donkey Kong, I hate you. Like, it looks okay. It doesn't look awful. It looks fine. What does Donkey Kong 64 even look like again? It's been like 20 years. Okay, yeah, it did look pretty awful. But it had its N64 charm. Is he still talking about nonsense that I don't care about? Would you say A Link to the Past looks better than Ocarina of Time? Because on one hand, they're different styles, so it's like hard to compare. But on the other, A Link to the Past is more crisp, and Ocarina of Time is more muddy. But that's like the only comparison I can really draw between them. I think Ocarina of Time still looks great. You would, yeah? That means we're enemies for life, J-Tier. I can't forgive you for that transgression against my family. But I'm not a big fan of OT. How can you not be a fan of the best game ever made? That's a lie. We all know the best game ever made is The City of Final Fantasy on the PSP. Quickly followed by Majesty the Fantasy Kingdom Sim. Followed quickly by Zeus, Master of Olympus. I've never played A Link to the... You've never played A Link to the Past? You should play A Link to the Past. You should play A Link Between Worlds and then... No, you should play A Link to the Past and then A Link Between Worlds. Got the Forest Temple and got bored. That's a sin. You're a sacrilege. Why are there so many ads? My ad blocker's not working. J-Tier, fix it. I'm not a Zelda guy. Well, that means that you're not a human and you must be corrected. That's a joke. Can we turn the ads off, please? For fucking God's sake. 5 minutes of ads is insane to me. As I play ads for you people. Okay, pause. Okay, oh, I muted the tab.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our stat tracking tutorials. In the last part we worked on the code side of our stat tracking, so we made it so we can add stats to the game and be able to read those stats from the game as well. Now we're going to work on the user interface element of this. So how do we get to actually show this information to the player during the game? So to get started off with, we need to create all the widgets required for this. So I'm going to right click on here, my content browser, and make a new widget blueprint. Now I'm going to do a heads up display.
So what did he just do? I don't want a heads up display. I need like stat menus, like a character screen. I guess I'll fix this at a later time. Test HUD. We'll do test HUD. Oh, what? Hold on. Go back. What did you do? Fuck! No! Fucking
Hello everyone
Jesus.
and welcome back to our stat track, all the widgets required for this. So I'm going to right click on here, my content browser, and make a new widget
blueprint.
Now I'm going to do a heads up display widget.
Test HUD.
And if you've seen my other tutorials where I've made other widgets and UIs, you can see that I do this quite a lot. It's just a way to contain all the elements of your heads-up display. So all the windows, menus, bars, ammo counters, whatever it may be, get stored in here. Next, we're going to do the actual menu for our stat tracker. So we're going to go menu, underscore stats.
Okay, I guess I understand what he's saying. So we'll name this FF11 HUD. And he says make another one. And name it FF11 menu stats. 11 menu stats.
UI. And then we're going to have the individual widgets for the individual stats. So right click, make a new widget blueprint, and go stat tracker underscore UI. So let's first of all work on our stat tracker.
I
So let's
don't understand what he's doing, but we'll follow along for the fuck of it and see what he does. God, what the fuck? What the? Oh my god. Ah!
stat tracker. We're going to get rid of the canvas panel.
Stat tracker UI.
And we can use a size box.
What did he say?
So the stat tracker, we're going to get rid of the canvas panel.
Get rid of the camera's panel. We don't have that.
And we can use a size box to give it a minimum height and width. So with it selected, go to the right hand side, go minimum width and minimum height. And the minimum width we're going to do is 500, and the minimum height we're going to do is going to be 100.
I'm probably going to change all of this later.
Now to see this actually in the window, you can change it from fill screen to desired. Next, what we're going to do is fill this size box with some content. So let's do a vertical box. And the vertical box is going to stack all its content vertically. So I'm going to have two rows here. I'm going to have first row is going to have the text part, and then the bottom half is going to have a progress bar, which I'll explain in a moment. First of all, let's do the text. So the text I'm actually going to use a horizontal box in. First of all, so drag your horizontal box inside of your vertical box, and inside that horizontal box we're going to use two texts. So text 1 goes into horizontal box and text 2 goes into horizontal box. So you see them next to each other, like so. Now, with the horizontal box, I want this to be split evenly between these two texts here. So the way you do that is you select each item, go to the right hand side and change it from auto to fill. And it'll fill all the whole entire space up with itself. But if you go choose the other one and choose fill as well, it's going to evenly split it between the two. And that'll work the same way as however many you have in the horizontal box.
That's good to know.
With this second one selected here, I'm going to align that to the right hand side of the screen so I can have the text on the right hand side. Okay, so the one on the left is going to have the name of the stat, and this one here is going to have the actual stat value itself. Now, as I said, we're going to have a progress bar below this as well. And the reason why we want a progress bar is that you may want your stat to be tracked in a way where when it reaches a certain threshold, it unlocks something for the player, be it an achievement, a skill, level up, whatever it may be. So I'm just going to show you how you actually do this. So we're going to drag a progress bar in to our vertical box, and you'll see it appear here. With it selected on the right hand side, I'm going to change its size to fill, and it'll fill all the remaining space below the text here. Now, I'm not going to do anything fancy with this.
Okay, what did he do?
Show you how you actually do this. So we're going to drag a progress bar in to our vertical box, and you'll see it appear here. With it selected on the right hand side, I'm going to change its size to fill, and it'll fill all the remaining space.
I thought it was filled, but I was looking at, I had the wrong thing selected. Okay.
Below the text here. Now, I'm not going to do anything fancy with this style or anything like that. Just leave it as is for now. So the things that are going to change in this are the two texts, and obviously the progress bar is going to change as well. But the progress bar is already a variable. As you can see here, it's already ticked. So we're just going to change the name of the progress bar here to stat progress. And then we're going to go to our text field. So the first text field, one on the left, we're going to name it the stat name and underscore text, and tick is variable. And then the second one is going to be stat value underscore text and is variable. With that done, compile that.
Stat value text. Is variable. Compile, save.
And then go over to your graph in the top right hand corner. Now here we're going to set up some variables which we're going to tie into those various widgets. So the first variable we're going to add is the stat name. And this is the name that's referred to inside of our stat tracker in a game instance, so that variable we've set up in the first episode. So this needs to be a string, and it has to be editable. So tick the eyeball to make it editable. Then we add another variable, and this can be the stat display name. So this can be the name that is displayed on the screen, which may be different from the name in the actual variable. And this can be a text. Again, tick the eyeball to make it editable. And finally, we're going to add another variable here. Actually, not finally, there can be one more after this. Next one is going to be stat value.
Stat value.
And that's going to be a float. Again, tick the box. Actually, no, we don't need to tick the box. We can turn that eyeball off. The last one we want to do, though, that we do want to show.
Did he... These are all these eyeballs are open, so should I follow what he's doing? Oh, they can't be opened. Okay.
So this needs to be a string, and it has to be editable. So tick the eyeball to make it editable. Then we add another variable, and this can be the stat display name. So this can be the name that is displayed on the screen, which may be different from the name in the actual variable. And this can be a text. Again, tick the eyeball to make it editable. And finally, we're going to add another variable here. Actually, not finally, there can be one more after this. Next one is going to be stat value. And that's going to be a float. Again, tick the box. Actually, no, we don't need to tick the box. We can turn that eyeball off. The last one we want to do, though, that we do want to show the eyeball for, and that is the progress maximum. So what does this value have to be for that progress bar to be filled up? So we'll do completion value, and we want to tick that as on as well. So we're going to use the stat value and the completion value to work out the progress bar's percentage. So with these actually ticked on like so, we want to then tie these onto our widget using a pre-construct event. So I'm just going to delete the other two. We don't need them. And in the pre-construct event, we can start tying these variables up to our stat value name and text. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to drag our stat name out, and we're going to do set text. And the name of this is going to come from the stat display name, so drag that over like so. And that's simply going to just show whatever the designer's typed in. Next one is a little bit different because we have to actually get the value from our save file inside the instance. So what we need to do is drag our stat value text out, choose get, and then similarly just do set text. Okay, and it's going to ask for in text. Now, as I said, we need to get it from our variables that we set up in the first episode. But what we also set up in the first episode was that read stat function. So I can just call that read stat function up here, and there you go. And you can see it's asking for a stat name here. So the stat name is going to be this string that we set up here, and that has to be the same as what you have in your variable. This is a value coming out of here, and that's going to be plugged into our stat value variable over here. So set that to that.
What did he do?
Into our stat value variable over here. So set that to that. And finally, we're going to drag that float over to text, and it will convert it to a text form. If you want it to hide decimal places or have a certain amount of decimal places, you can expand open this toText node, and you can see here how many fractional digits it should have. Okay, so minimum, maximum. So if I wanted to show 1, they will only show like 1.1, for example, not 1.155. Okay, so that's that, and that's that. Okay, so we've got this set up. The next thing we want to do is we want to set the bar on the progress here. So the bar progress we're actually going to do in the function, because we want to call this up again later on. So I'm going to go new function, and we're going to do set progress bar. And the progress bar function is quite simple. All it's going to do is drag our stat progress bar variable out, which is get, and in there we're looking for set percent. And the percentage is going to be the completion value sorry, not the completion value, the stat value divided by the completion value. And we're going to clamp that.
Stop. Clamp
to a
float.
maximum of 1. So if your stat value is say 5 and the completion value is 10, it's going to output 0.5. Okay. If it is 5 and the completion value is 2, it's going to output 1 because it's clamped it. So I'm going to drag that out here, and there you go. Back on our event graph, just double check things over. I think we're all good here. Okay, I think we're all good there. So we can close this, and now go onto our menu stats UI widget. And this is the
Menu stats UI widget.
menu that's going to show up inside the game with our stats in it. So for this, I'm going to leave the... Actually, I'm going to get rid of the canvas panel. And we're going to put in a border. And the border here is going to have a background that's different from that. So let's change that from brush color here. I'm going to change that to a faded grey, so 0.8 dark grey.
Okay, I'm gonna do something different than what he's doing. Let's go to UI. Where is it? Oh, it's in menu. Menus 1. Here we go. There we go. An FF11 menu. Okay. Continue.
Right. And with that done, I can then change this fill screen here to desired. You'll notice it goes right down to nothing. That's because it's empty. So what I'm going to do is now fill in with all our stats. So go to user created section in your palette and you'll see stat tracker, which is the one we just made. Drag this down into your border.
Okay.
And there you go. Now I can click on this stat here and I can go and to the right hand side and type in the variables that I need here. So the stat name refers to
Where is this? He's got stat checker UI selected and he's under default. Aha, stat name. Okay, all the way down here.
the variable name. So here I have jumped, and the stat display name is times jumped. Okay, and the completion value is, I'm going to say I want to jump 10 times to unlock the achievement. Okay, hit compile.
Okay, we're just gonna follow what he's doing at the moment. Stat name jumped. set display name times jumped. And you need completion value is 10. Hit compile. How's Golden Sun going?
And we're done there. Now I'm going to add another stat tracker. I'm going to add to, oh no, sorry. Realize you have to add multiple. You have to right click on this, wrap with a, where is it? Scroll box.
Wrap with scroll box.
Now you can add multiple to the scroll box.
Okay.
And this one here, stat name, we can have shots fired. And display name is going to be shots.
Okay, so the big problem with this is what I thought of as stats is like strength, my strength stat. But his stats are like stats that are recorded of like times jumped, shots fired. So I think this whole thing might be incorrect into what I'm trying to make. But we'll keep going with it.
Space fired. And the completion value is going to be 100. So I have to shoot 100 bullets or 100 times.
I don't know. I'll do. What should I do? Enemy slain. $100
to get whatever I want to get out of this. Hit compile. And you get the gist. You just keep adding all the stats you want into this. Okay? So hit save and we'll close that. The next thing we're going to do is go into a head-up display. And we're going to add our menu to our head-up display. So leave the canvas panel on. Go down to your user created, find menu stats UI and drag that into canvas panel. You'll see it's bunched up all in the corner here. Click on it, go to the right hand side and tick size to content. And you'll see it fills out the space that's required. Now you can actually customize this. If I untick this, I can customize the size of this thing. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go to anchors and go to this bottom left hand one here, and it's going to spread it across the left hand column here. So what I'm going to do here is change the offset bottom to 0, and you see it's now spread across the whole entire height. And then the width of it I can customize to my liking. So I actually want to give this some padding as well. So for that I have to actually go into my menu stats because it's all inside there. So I'm going to open this up, right click on it, edit.
Okay, I'm gonna make a comment. Got all the way through this video and 70% of this one before I realized this was for tracking stats, kind of stats, and not like a strength, agility, and intelligence kind of stats. still was useful though. Okay, player starts part 1 stat functions. Okay, so these are separate things. Player stats. Well, before starting this series, I feel we're going through the inventory system series, as that one builds upon this one builds upon that. Part 1 we cover how we store our how to make an equipment system, our action RPG. Part 14 RPG stats. Maybe I should watch this one. It's still useful because, like, in FF11 you have to build up your skills, like sword skill, right? And so you, like, every time you swing with your sword you have a chance to increase your sword skill up to a maximum for your level, and then when you level up, the maximum for that skill increases, and you can go into the menu and see, like, how far you are or what your skill number is. Well, you can just see the skill number, and you can't exactly see a bar, but I think I would like a bar when I do that. So we can keep this in here and use it to track that, maybe, but this is more just tracking things and not managing skills, because those values will come into gameplay, you know. So we'll keep going with this for now.
And on my scroll box here, padding here.
Okay, what are we doing?
Of it I can customize to my liking. So I actually want to give this some padding as well. So for that I have to actually go into my menu stats, because it's all inside there. So I'm going to open this up, right click on it, edit, and on my scroll box here, padding here, I'm going to change my top padding here to 50, my left to 50, right to 50.
Padding.
And I also got to do it a whole lot 50. There you go. Then I want to add some padding between these two here as well. So I'm going to click on my second stat tracker here and give the top padding here of 10, maybe 20. There we go. And you do that for each stat you have inside your stat tracker. I'm going to hit compile for now, and that'll do. But now I've done that there, it'll go over to our heads-up display, and you see it's translated over here as well. So now we've got this set up, I'm going to click on it, go to the right hand side, and find where it says visibility. I'm going to change that to hidden. So
Okay, hold on. Visibility hidden.
it starts the game as invisible. We're then going to set up some code on a graph here to toggle it on. So go to my graph, and we'll go to delete all this, and we'll create a function in here called toggle stats. And in toggle stats, we're going to drag our menu stats UI variable out, which is a reference to that menu, and we're going to check whether it's visible or not. So just search for visible, and you'll see is visible, and this will give you a boolean which you can put into a branch like so. Next we're going to go down to the false branch, so if it is not visible we want to turn it on. So drag menu stats back out again.
Stop. Okay, one moment, I need to turn this light on. It's getting dark. what are we doing? Menu stats
Set
UI.
visible.
God damn it. What?
And then we have to tell
False.
if you want the player to interact with it, we have to change its input mode to allow that. So I'm going to go and get player controller.
I realize you can't see most of what I'm doing. There, maybe like that.
And set input mode to game and UI. And the widget you want to focus on is going to be the menu stats. Or maybe the HUD. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. So that's up there, and we also want to show the mouse as well. From the controller, set show mouse cursor, and tick the box. So we're first of all reading the menu, whether it's visible. If it's not visible, we're going to make it visible, change the input mode to game and UI so we can actually interact with it, and then change it so we can actually see the cursor. Now,
Do I want that to happen? I don't need the cursor.
now we're going to do the inverse.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it just because he did it, just to see. What?
Or maybe the HUD. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. So that's up there, and we also want to show the mouse as well. From the controller, set show mouse cursor. And tick the box. So we're first of all reading the menu, whether it's visible. If it's not visible, we're going to make it visible, change the input mode to game and UI so we can actually interact with it, and then change it so we can actually see the cursor. Now we're going to do the inverse of this on the true branch. So we can actually take this and copy this. change it to hidden. Get player controller. I'm going to drag this up here so I can use the same get and do set input mode to game only. And I'm going to also show set show mouse cursor to false. So now we've got this function set. Set up in our HUD. So the last thing we need to do is actually put this to the screen. So let's go on to our game mode.
Okay, so we have to go to the game mode.
And in our game mode, I'm going to open full blueprint editor. On begin play,
Let me make this like smaller and like I don't know where to put this so it doesn't like interfere.
I'm going to tell it to create that widget for the HUD. So create widget and select class heads up display. I'm going to promote that to a variable so I can
What did he do? Fuck.
And in our game mode, I'm going to open full blueprint editor. On begin play, I'm going to tell it to create that widget for the HUD. So create widget and select class heads up display. I'm going to promote that to a variable so I can access it and refer to it all the time. Okay, good. And then from there, we're going to add to viewport, making sure the target is plugged into a head-up display. Hit compile. Okay, so now that HUD is on there. The next thing we're going to do is going to make it so we can actually toggle it, and we need a controller for that. So I'm going to create our own custom controller for this. So go to add new blueprint class and choose player controller, and of course run my controller. In here we want to set up so input to toggle that menu. So I've already gone in and added my input.
So would we put this in the controller we already have if we have one?
Show you that, go to edit.
Oh my god, Yo Neno! Thank you for the 8 months. How are you? I don't know. Subscribe to tier 1. They've subscribed for 8 months, currently on an 8-month streak. Oh my god, Yo Neno, thank you. Has it really been 8 months? Jesus. What are you up to? How are you doing? Are you getting off of work? Thank you, No Neno. You should join me in Unreal so we can make stuff. Hurricane prep. Oh shit, I hope you're doing okay. So tired? Oh damn. Come move to the desert with me. I'll take you in. Not that I'm in a position to take people in. I've been taken in myself. I hope things go well though. I've been hearing lots of crazy hurricane stuff going on that side of the country. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're gonna be okay. Should be fine. Not in Tampa. Oh, okay, that's good at least. I saw an article this morning about Walt Disney World set to be in a state of emergency. And I was like, what the hell kind of emergency? I was thinking like the plague or something. And then I opened it, it was the hurricane. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense than what I was thinking. But yeah, that's pretty far in though, right? So the hurricane must be really rough. Sorry to hear that. Hope you get through it just fine. Yeah, can you imagine that they never used to close and now they close for hurricanes like every year? Really? Is that like a sign of different management choices, or is that a sign of the weather collapsing? Like, or both? Probably both. Dang. That's crazy. Oh boy. Okay, what were we doing? So, do you want to see what I have so far of my game, quote unquote game? So we've got camera movement. I've imported Southern Sandoria into Unreal, and I've got collision to work. And I set up the materials so that the transparency works on the trees and leaves and stuff. His run animation works. The camera works like in FF11 where it can go around you like this. And turning the camera changes your forward vector, just like in the game. And I can toggle a walk. He can walk. And there's a jump animation. So you can't jump in a FF11, but yeah, you're not supposed to come this far. I haven't set that up yet. I'll set that up at another time. But so another problem is I accidentally imported the character model with a weapon equipped. So now all his, like, I had to go through a bunch of loopholes to get this all to work with his weapon model, but I think I'm going to need to remove that when I add the equipment system so that he can equip and unequip items. But anyway, what was I saying? He can, targeting. I can target the enemies. The enemies like wander around and roam and they use their proper... Oh, I was going to say about the jump. So there's jump animations in the files for the human player character, but you can't jump in the game. So basically he plays the animation twice, but the second time he plays it in reverse. So he kind of like goes up and then down, like the anticipation goes backwards, so it looks like he's landing kind of. So I guess that was ingenious on my part, not to brag. Is he giant? Didn't spend that much time in Sandy? No, this seems about right for the size of Sandoria. Like, this is the auction house booth. Like, you come up to this window and it seems right to me. And I usually play an Ellison, who's like even bigger than the Hume. But anyway, it took me 3 days to get this targeting to work. The targeting was fine, it was easy. But to get the reticule to like rotate properly and always face the camera, that took me 3 days. But I can target and I can cycle between the closest targets. And I can press backspace and it clears the target. I would put it to escape like it is in the game, but like that's how I get out of the debugging, the beta, the executable mode, and I don't want to change that yet. Although I guess I could put it onto backspace. So yeah, now we are working on adding stats player stats, and the tutorial I'm following, I misunderstood what they meant by stats, where it's like times jumped, shots fired, and it like keeps track. I'm like, that's not the stats I was thinking of. But I'm like halfway through the tutorial already, so I'm just like, I'll keep going, whatever. Anyway, I missed some messages. Less risk-adverse management, but also larger and more powerful storms making it to Orlando. Saw the videos of you importing the area and the mobs. Nice. Is he giant and spend that much time? Animations might be from cutscenes. Oh, true. True. And another thing with the animations that kind of drove me crazy and weirded me out was like... what am I doing? That weirded me out was like... Let me save. They're cut up, right? So a casting animation will like begin the cast and then like cut halfway through, and there's a middle section of the animation where it picks up where it left off and continues, and then there's like a third section that like finishes that off, and you have to like cut them and paste. So let me show you. If we go into... I have to do this wacky stuff where I... I need to open the animation blueprint. Where is that? It's in animations. ABP, here we go. Okay. So in order to get this to work, let's see, let's go to movement. So to get movement to work, I had to take... So for some reason the torso, I know why, but the torso and the legs are separately animated. So what I had to do was I had to create a blend space where it takes the walk animation of the legs and the run animation of the legs and blends them depending on the character's speed. So if he's walking, he's using the walk animation. If he's running, he's using the run animation, but only for his legs. Then I had to do the same thing with his torso. And then I had to combine them in this layered blend per bone node where it blends them together, but like everything past a certain bone is the torso and everything past a certain bone is the legs only. And so it blends them together into a single animation, and it just works. And I'm like, why did they design it this way? And then this, I think, is the weapon. So I had to use two in a row and blend the weapon so that it wasn't like sliding along the ground in its default placement, so that like, and there's no like, I can't find the walk animation with the weapon equipped, so I had to like take the weapon equipped from a different animation and make it so that only the weapon's bone is animating in this blend space. So everything else is this walk cycle, and then I'm tacking the weapon animation on, and that's how I'm getting him to fucking run around with a weapon on his back. So I guess I could just delete this when I get to the point where I can do equipment, but it's going to be more messier when I get into the jump animation because it's more ingrained. Yeah, so the jump... Oh, no, I can just delete this. I can just delete this. Okay, it's not that, okay. I think we're okay then. For now. We'll see. The code for Final Fantasy XI must be so insanely complex. I'm amazed that game runs. And not only does it run, it runs as smoothly as it does. Animations might be from cutscenes. Yeah. Okay, what was I doing? Joke was it's always held back by PS2. Yeah, but like even like that's not the kind of thing I'm talking about with when it's being held back by PS2. Like the PS2 limit, if you can get Final Fantasy XI off the PS2 dev kits, that you can make the engine snappier. You know, you could make things like you could add more like the thing was they can't add more stuff to the game. They can't do another expansion because the game just doesn't have enough space for all those assets. As if they took it off of the PS2 dev kit, you could add more expansions, you could add more areas, right? More player models and stuff like that. Whereas like just like what they did was so insane already. Like it works, the way it works now is insane. Like with the PS2 limitations of like all these animations are cut into pieces on this random skeleton, and every fucking piece of the armor piece in the game interacts with it. And oh my, I can't even imagine how complex that code must be. And to do things like their targeting reticule and all this other stuff, like I'm just like, oh my god, how did they make this game? How did they make World of Warcraft? Just like insane to me. Now that I'm getting into this and trying to get the simplest thing to function. Anyway, what was I doing? We have an ad break coming in like 4.5 minutes. I'll probably, I think I'm gonna run a 3-minute ad break and go use the restroom, if you're all okay with that. Obviously, Neno doesn't have to worry about this. Thanks for the sub, 8 months. Yeah, I'm gonna take a short break. I shall return. BRB. I'll be here. Cool, cool. I return. Hi. Although people are still in an ad, so I should wait probably. 20 seconds remain. Thanks for the welcome back, Neo Nano. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ad break has ended. The community has been returned to us from the realm of darkness. Welcome back. Each foray into the Hell Realms gives me a little more support, and I appreciate you for that. I went and got some more water. And I got a little snacky. A meat stick. A flesh wand, if you will. This like chomps. It's like grass-fed beef. It's really good. Okay. What was I doing? Okay.
Project setting.
Oh yeah, I was asking if I could put this in my player controller node that I already have.
And go to input. I've added a new action mapping called menu, and I'm using the tab.
Oh, okay. So if we go to project settings, input, action mapping, menu, and I'm going to put it as numpad minus because that so it opens the menu in FF11.
So click on the plus and then type in the name menu, and then you can choose which key you want it to use. I say I'm using tab, you can use whatever you want. In my controller here,
I'm just going to use the default player controller that I have set up. Well, not default. I have like a non-default player controller set up. I'm going to use that. What am I doing? What am I looking for? Oh, it's up. I'm dumb. Okay, FF11 player controller.
I'm going to search for the menu event. So action event menu.
Action, input action menu. There we go.
And when it's pressed, we want to get hold of our HUD and use that toggle menu, stat menu function. So for that, I need to get hold of my HUD. So I'm going to go into begin play. So at the start of the game, it's going to get the game mode and then cast to my first person game mode. And that first person game mode has this HUD.
Okay. Can you even see any of this that I'm doing? Let's move it up here.
So from here, I can get the heads-up display. And
Okay, hold on. What is he getting?
first person game mode has this HUD. So from here, I can get the heads-up display. And
I'm just gonna pretend that that's gonna work.
I can store that as a reference here. To save myself some time. So on the menu action event, I can drag the HUD out, get, and then toggle.
What?
And then cast to my first person game mode. And that first person game mode has this HUD. So from here, I can get the heads up display.
Hold on. With the stat tracker library, we have the game instance, which is what? All our stats. FF11 stat tracker UI. FF11 HUD. This is what we want, I think. FF11 menu stats UI. We want this though. Because this calls it, right? So... Oh! FF11 HUD object reference. Okay. Okay, that's fine. And then...
And I can store that as a reference here.
Promote to variable. Okay, that's what he did. Okay.
Just save myself some time. So on the menu action event, I can drag the HUD out, get, and then toggle stats. So last week.
Compile and save.
What we need to do is tie this controller up to our actual game. So that is handled in game mode. So go to game mode.
Okay, so FF11 game mode.
And on the right hand side, you'll see player controller class. Choose your my controller class.
Okay, I did it right because he's doing exactly... Okay, we have
Compile, and let's
my controller. We got FF11 player controller all set.
test this out. Okay, so when I tab, I can see my menu. Hit tab again, and there you go. So what this means, as you can see, it's still hitting 0. What's happening here is because it hasn't updated yet, we have to tell it to update every time we want to re-show it. So we need to do that and tie in our progress bar, which we'll do in the next episode, because this one's been going on for quite some time. So if you want to watch the next episode right now, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Daly.
Okay, stat progress.
You'll never know unless you go.
Fuck.
Save your spot now at pmi.e.
Mute the tab. Okay. So what am I doing? Okay, let's test it. Oh my god! It opens, okay. Ba-da-da-bum-ba, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-ba-ba. Okay, sorry, I'm like... Okay, enough of that. Up, he started the vidya. Unmute, go to the beginning. Okay.
Hello everyone to the final episode in our stat tracking mini-series. In the previous episodes we've set up the code and the basics of the UI to show that code. However, at the moment our UI doesn't show any update, it keeps it at 0. So I can jump, I can shoot, and it doesn't update our stats at all. So let's go about making that change. So the first thing we do is have to tell our stat tracker to have a bit of code to tell it.
This is only 6 minutes. Okay, so stat tracker. Where is that? Stat tracker UI.
It to update. So my graph here, this is currently set to construct, so all this needs to be also updated. So for that, I'm going to create a custom event called update tracker, and that's going to plug into set text. In fact, before it does that, no, actually, let's put that onto there. Sorry, and then at the end of this, one thing we forgot to put in is our function set progress bar. We'll drag that in. And plug that out. Okay, so when this event's called, it's going to basically rebuild our construct. So it's going to change the text, read the stat again, and change the text for that, and then update the progress bar accordingly. So that function is now there. Close that, and let's go to our menu stats UI.
Menu stats UI.
So on menu stats UI, we want to be able to get hold of each of the items inside of our entire menu here, and tell each one to update. So I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to create another custom event here, and the custom event is going to be update, or we go refresh stats. There you go, refresh stats, and the refresh stats and the construct again are going to share the same code. So let's just crack this in. So we're going to get all widgets of class, and we're going to get hold of all our stat tracking widgets. So stat tracker UI, and plug that in. Then for each of these, this array here, this is an array, is like a list. And if we do a for each for this, it's going to run this code that we can plug into next on each of those items. And each of those items is a stat tracker. So I can go out here and tell it to update the tracker. Plug it into loop body, and there you go. And as I said, you want this to be tied to construct as well, so plug that into the construct as well.
Event construct.
Compile, and then finally we're going to go onto our HUD and go to the graph and look at the code in our function toggle stats, and when we make it visible we want to call the update and refresh. So drag your menu stats out at the end of the false branch.
Okay.
And then tell it to refresh the stats, and that's going to then cycle through all of the stat tracking UIs and tell them to update. Hit compile and close this. So now if I push play, shoot a few times, so that weren't working. So let's double check something. Let's go into our menu stats UI, and go to the graph, and yeah, so we want to untick the top
Where are we? Menu stats UI.
level only. When you have that ticked, it's basically just saying only look for the stat tracker that is plugged directly into the viewport. We don't want that. We want it to look inside of all the widgets inside the viewport. So it's going to look at all the stat tracking that's happening on the screen. So with that unticked, we click compile, and let's now test and play our game. So I shoot a few times, I'll jump a few times, hit tab, and you can see these now have been updated. And let's turn it off and do a bit more. And there you go. So
Hold on. Before I do anything else. Okay. Player character. What was the thing that he made us do? When he jumps, he... Hold on. Let me open the first one.
hi everyone, and
Here we go. Add stat.
so it's going to keep track of how many times the player jumps in the game. So do add stat.
Okay. So let's try this, shall we? Okay, so we press the menu, times jump 0. Times jump 1! Look, it works! Look, oh my god. So, times jump 2. Times jump 4. It doesn't update until you close the menu. I've maxed out the jumps. I love it. It works. Not exactly what we were trying to make, but... Okay. So... where were we?
As you can see, I still move about. I can't look around because the mouse control is now on the UI. If you want to turn off the control here so you can't move about and whatnot whilst this is on, you can do that. Go to your controller object.
I don't want to do that.
And when we do toggle here, we need to tell the toggle to basically tell it to deactivate, enable and disable input. So let's go to our toggle. Sorry, that's not on the controller, that's on heads-up display. Go to graph, and inside the graph here, at the end of each one of these, we're going to enable and disable input on the player character. So get player character.
Actually, I kind of do. I want to disable everything that isn't strictly movement. So, where is he? Heads up display UI. Okay. Get player character.
And this is when it's visible, so disable input. And this requires a player controller. And you want to do the inverse up the top as well. So we're going to do
I don't want to, well, can you disable a specific kind of input? Disable input. Nah, this is unnecessary for the moment. Bookmark if I need to come back to this.
We need both of these again, so copy these over. And enable input. And that just tells that the character itself can't move when the menu's open. So you can't move. But now I can move. And there you go. And that is a stat tracker. Now, as I said, the progress bar will complete when your jump has, or in this case, jumped has reached 10. So one more. And you can see I've reached it. My number's going up still. That's totally fine because the progress bar is now showing it's complete. But it's still tracking that value. And that brings us to the end of the stat tracking.
Okay. Not the stats I wanted. Skill system. Not the skills I was imagining on this one. Any thoughts, Near No? You doing okay? Golden Sun going well, J tier? Action RPG Part 14, RPG Stats. Survival Game Part 1, Player Stats. I kind of want to... Hold on. Let's do this.
Hello and welcome back to our Action RPG series. Now previously we worked on abilities and debuffs, and before we go into buffing the character and doing buffs and their effect on our stats, I want to revisit our stats component and elaborate
Revisit.
a bit more on it and add more stats and start
Oh, see, look. I guess we did do it right. Okay,
looking at how we do.
Can we visit this, like... How to make a JRPG. I think it's in this one. No, it's an action RPG. Okay, let's just open how to make a JRPG. Playlists. Action menu, turn camera, target list, attack command, attack effects, ranged attacks, enemy attacks, dealing damage, magic menu, UI animation, fire spell, spending MP, dynamic camera, damage numbers, white magic, sound effects, stun status, victory screen, victory rewards, XP rewards, stun status, items. Did I pass it already? Items window, using items continued, JRPG information bar. Grenades and ethers, saving and loading, techniques UI.
Why not just make it call the game modes function to do the same thing? Well, when it goes to turn ended, there's a variety of things that are going to happen, not just the next turn. It's going to be doing other things too. And if using an event dispatcher, it makes it a lot.
Adding characters. God damn it.
Hello and welcome back to our
Battle
JRPG
positions,
series.
classes.
This is episode 2, and in our last episode we've done the
animations,
basics of setting up our
units,
game mode,
camera,
controllers
collision,
and so forth,
camera
ready to start
setup,
putting our characters in.
push
So in this
play.
episode we're going to put in our characters and our enemies into their positions for our game. So when they spawn in at the start of the game, they're ready to go. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do,
Hold on, I want to jump to classes.
okay, so we've got the player positions and we've got the enemy positions here. And I'm going to set up their classes as well. So the classes for this are going to be set up via these parent classes.
Are they talking about the classes in terms of Unreal Engine, or are they talking about like RPG classes?
Got here. So we're going to right click on the party unit base, create child blueprint class, and this is going to be our Greystone. So we're using the Paragon characters, so we're going to use the Greystone unit for this, and we're going to use Faye and we're going to use Gideon. So I'm going to drag another one out, so create child class. It's going to be Gideon unit. Going to do another one.
Okay, this is not really. Action menu. Skill system. Action RPG. Okay, so playlists. Let's see if we can find this action RPG business. Learn Niagara, making a quest system. Ooh, making an action RPG. Interactions / ability damage numbers, abilities cooldown UI, ability cooldown, movement, debuffs, projectile ability, UI, ability keys. Only 11 parts, but this video is... Where is it? Part 14. What? So he hasn't updated his playlists, basically, is what I'm reading. Videos, I guess. Wall running, charge jump, asset bundle, kart racer. Action RPG buffs UI, optimization collision, RPG part 16 buffs, dealing damage, part RPG stats. Enemy AI. Enemies. Debuffs. That's what's the last one in here, right? Goes to 11. Part 10, ability keys. Part 2. Oh, it skips 1. Part 2, Part 5, Part 6, Part 4. Oh, they're out of order. It still only goes to 11, though. Okay. What's Part 1? Part 1 is movement. Part 2, interactions. Part 3, UI. I think I'm gonna do some watching of videos before I commit to the next step. So I think I'm gonna end my stream here today. Thank you for the resub of 8 months, Neo Neno. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being here as well. Thanks Jade here for stopping in. Thanks to Ellen Fox. I hope I see you all again soon. I'll try and stream tomorrow maybe. Let's see if there's anyone we can raid. No Nats. Squid Senna is playing Ziza. Lotro stream. Have a good evening. You have a good evening too, Nana. Thank you so much. Always good to see you. Villain of Legend is still online. Let's do no nats. He's playing Monster Hunter Frontier G. Okay, thank you everyone. Again, I'm going to try and stream tomorrow if I can. See if I can make some progress and figure out what I want to do with the stat system. And I'll see you all tomorrow maybe. Have a good one. Bye-bye.